All right, let's talk about two programming languages that have lived on opposite sides of a great big wall for decades, Pascal and C++. Today, we're going to look at a tool called JetPascal, and its promise is huge, to tear that wall down for good. This could completely change the game for Pascal developers. So let's dive right in.
So, if you're a Pascal developer, this question probably hits really close to home, right? I mean, you love the clarity, that beautiful, clean syntax of Pascal, but you've definitely looked over that wall at the massive, powerful C++ ecosystem and thought, man, I wish I could use all that stuff without all the usual headaches.
And that's what we're talking about here, this great wall of Pascal. It's been separating the two languages for ages. Now look, it's always been possible to access C++ from, say, Delphi or Free Pascal, but let's be honest, it's always been just incredibly painful. And this slide, this pretty much sums up the frustration, doesn't it? You're stuck in what we call wrapper hell, just writing these tedious, endless C-style wrappers for C++ libraries. Your access is often stuck with DLLs, which makes static linking a total nightmare. And what's the end result? You feel completely isolated from this massive C++ world. Okay, but what if you could just tear that wall down? Just smash right through it. Well, that is the big promise of JetPascal. It's a tool that was built from the ground up to solve this one very specific, very annoying problem. So, what exactly is JetPascal? Well, at its core, it's a transpiler. It's pretty clever. It takes your nice, clean Pascal code and translates it, or transpiles it, into modern C++ 23. Then it hands that C++ code over to the super powerful Clang and LLVM toolchain to compile it all down into a single, blazing fast executable. And this right here, this quote on the screen, this is the absolute killer feature. This is the secret sauce. JetPascal lives in C++. Think about what that means. If the compiler sees a piece of code it doesn't recognize as Pascal, it doesn't crash or throw an error. Nope. It just shrugs and says, hey, that must be C++, and passes it straight through. This one idea, this changes everything. So remember those problems we talked about? Let's see how this solves them. You get what they call zero-friction C++ interop. Say goodbye to wrappers, you don't need them anymore. You can finally do static linking for those nice single executables. And get this, you can even embed entire blocks of raw C++ right inside your Pascal source code. The wall is gone. Okay, so this living in C++ thing sounds like magic, but how does it actually work under the hood? Let's break down the philosophy behind the whole tool. It really boils down to four key ideas. First, think of Pascal as just really nice syntactic sugar on top of C++. Second is that transparent fall-through we just mentioned. If it's not Pascal, it's C++. Easy. Third, it uses modern C++ 23 features to perfectly mimic how Pascal is supposed to behave. And finally, and this is a big one, because it's generating direct C++ code, there's zero overhead, no foreign function interface, no data marshalling. It's just native. All right, theory is great, but you want to see it in action, right? Let's look at a super practical example. We're going to build a simple little game app using a really popular C++ library called raylib. And the key word here is directly. We are going to use this C++ library directly from our Pascal code. I'm serious. No special bindings, no wrapper generators, none of that nonsense. So how do we pull this off? It all starts with this one simple compiler directive. This single line of code tells JetPascal, hey, go grab the entire C++ raylib.h header file. And poof, just like that, all of its functions, all of its types are now available to your Pascal code. Okay, check this out. Init window, that's a C++ function. It comes from raylib. It's not a native Pascal function. But because JetPascal doesn't recognize it, it does that magic trick. It just passes the call straight through to the C++ code it's generating. That's the living in C++ idea, right there in front of you. And here we go again. We're calling drawText, another C++ function, and we're just passing it a normal Pascal string and a few numbers. It looks and feels exactly like you're writing regular Pascal code, but what you're actually doing is seamlessly calling into a powerful C++ library. It's incredible. And honestly, that's the whole story right there. It just works. You write code that feels natural and intuitive, and it does exactly what you expect. You're getting the best of both worlds. That beautiful Pascal clarity with the raw, untamed power of the C++ ecosystem.
But listen, the payoff here isn't just about getting access to more libraries. This whole approach brings some other huge, tangible benefits to the table, and we're talking about two big ones: speed and simplicity.
First, let's talk about pure speed. We're looking at benchmarks showing code compiled with JetPascal running anywhere from 1.5 to over 3 times faster than the exact same logic compiled with native Delphi. That is a massive difference. So you've got to ask, where does that incredible speed boost come from? It's actually pretty simple. Because JetPascal outputs C++ and uses Clang to compile it, it gets to piggyback on the world-class LLVM optimizer for free. It's literally standing on the shoulders of giants, and you get all the benefits.
And the simplicity doesn't stop with the code. The whole toolchain is bundled up for you. The Zig build system, the C++ compiler, all the standard libraries, it's all included in a single download. That means no messing around with external dependencies. You download it, and you're ready to go.
And maybe the best part of all is how unbelievably easy it is to get started. Seriously, let's just quickly walk through how you'd create your very first project.
It's just 4 super simple steps. You download the release from GitHub, you extract the folder, you add its bin directory to your system's path variable, and then you just verify it. That's it. No installers, no complex setup wizards, you're done. And as soon as that's done, creating a brand new Hello World project is just one command in your terminal. JetPascal has this really nice, clean, project-based workflow. You run this command, and it just scaffolds out a whole ready-to-compile console app for you, instantly. And all of this brings us to one final, really important question. That wall, the one that has separated the Pascal and C++ worlds for decades, it's gone. The entire C++ ecosystem, all the libraries, the frameworks, the game engines, it's all right there at your fingertips. So the real question is, what will you build?